Hi, this is Oliver from Coconetics, and over the past several days I had these goodies here sitting on my table, and it took me quite some discipline to not open them, but I wanted to have this as an incentive for me basically finishing a chapter in the book that I'm currently working on. So I kind of did that, even though there are slight technical problems, but I think I now quite deserve to open these things, and so that's what I'm going to do. Get a double feature. We're going to open an iPad Air as well as a golden iPhone 5S, and I've got smart covers for them as well. So let's start with the iPad Air. This is the biggest one. So the first time I think that there is a 128 megabytes model, and of course I'm getting that because you never know, you might have lots of videos on there for watching it, so why not get the largest one? And I also got the one I think with cellular, because on my other iPad 4, which I was using until now, I also had a SIM card in it, so that when I'm on the road I have internet with me. So I always have two SIM cards with data with me. So there's the iPad Air. There's a charger with the European plug and a cable that otherwise people have to buy for lots of money. And let's see what we have in here. A SIM tool. This is the new round one. And okay, stickers, of course, we always get, and the usual paper. Welcome and so on and so forth. And that's all there is in the box. So let's das meins. Yeah. So just for a comparison, this is my iPad 4 I was using so far. So let's see in direct comparison. You can see that the iPad 4 is slightly thicker. Let's see the size. Quite interestingly, the iPad Air is narrower and about the same height, but almost like 2 centimeters less in width. And on the back, they now did the white also at the top here, where with the previous white iPad 4, this thing on the back was black. I guess that's where the cellular and Wi-Fi radios are behind, because metal usually doesn't really work so well with radio. The camera, the microphone appears to be besides the camera instead of on top of it. And something that I find a little bit odd is I would never have placed the home button asymmetrically. I would have put it in the center, but no, must be a reason for that. So see how this looks if we've started a few seconds. And while this is starting, let's have a look at the smart cover. There's this fillet. There is no leather smart cover, available, it seems, for the iPad Air. This case is polyurethane. The previous product, Red, this I got in Cupertino, is like a nice leather, versus the new one, the red one, as I said, is only available in polyurethane, and that's, well, it still feels good, even though it feels a little bit cheaper. And after a while, leather has the feature that it kind of ages somewhat, while still having sort of a patina. With plastic, I don't know. We'll have to see how this works out. Let's see. Okay. Still seems to that if you don't put it on exactly, it still seems to center itself. So if I'm not perfectly where it should be, still the magnets draw it to the right place. So let's choose a language here. And still, how very nice in comparison. One advantage of not having a metal thing on the back is you probably won't get these kinds of chafe marks, or what you call them, where it really scratches the material and you can't really. I think maybe you can polish it away after with a little bit of effort, but still that's something that won't happen with this new covers, since there's this microfiber lining. It's on the cover as well as the back where it goes to the spine. So they improved this slightly. Let's see. Another thing I'm noticing here, the previous one had one flap more. There you would form a triangle and then fold it one more time, so this would be standing, versus here you fold it once, and there's some sort of magnetic action that aligns it to the spine. So let's see, that's in this case, yeah, it's some magnetic traction that forms the triangle here, as opposed to here where it's actually, there's also a magnetic action, but you have an additional how do you say, segment. So let's compare the stability here. It's interesting. It might be either because it's got less height, or because it's a bit reduced in weight. It's if you give it a little bit of a momentum, it keeps upright, versus the old one. You see, it's more easy to topple over. So there's some technical improvements here as well. And I think another reason might be, if you look at the how do you say, the space that's actually resting on the table, that's much larger here. So you have a longer lever to make this fall over, versus here. That's something I noticed quite often when watching videos in bed. I would put the iPad on something like so, and it would fall over quite easy. So that's one improvement on the iPad Air, as well as the new smart cover, that it stands much more firmly. So quite like that. So let's see, I want to choose a proper country, Austria, and yeah, this I'll do later. So that's it for the iPad Air. Let's do one more final comparison. if you can actually tell from the weight. I don't know if I could really tell them apart that easily. It's the feeling of the edge. This is more has a how to say, it's more edgy, versus this is more round because of the bigger thickness of this. So yeah, here's the iPad Air. Okay, so that's it for the iPad Air. Second feature today is an iPhone 5S in gold. So I'm really anxious to see how nice the gold looks. I also always use my iPhone with a cover, because otherwise it looks old really quickly, and so I got a product red cover for it as well. Let's see how this looks with the gold. I hope I don't regret that the gold will be not really much visible in the smart cover. Doesn't want to come out. So here's a iPhone 5S. Good. There's no flap to lift it up. It looks quite metallic. So if you look at it in a certain direction, it's almost looks gray. It's only if you get the reflection that it's actually looks golden. It's more, well, actually it's little less than gold. It's more champagne, but I guess champagne wouldn't be that good a selling color. So let's call it gold, they said. Okay, so let's so there's one, and that's two, and turn this on. And while this turns on, let's see how this opens. There's a flap in here that disconnects. I can open the thing at the top. So here the leather basically that was previously available on the iPad smart cover is now available on the cover for the iPhone 5S, because this is leathery. The product red feels very nice. So let's see how this feels like if I put this in here. Very snug. So the thing that remains to be seen, remains visible from the gold is the gold circle, and you have a thin line all around the iPhone that sort of gives a hint. So if you look at it with the light reflecting from the right angle, you can still tell it's gold. So I've got my SIM card somewhere. There interesting. They now include the earphones with a box in the box, the thin charger that we know about previously, and again one of these cables that you can never have sufficient amounts of, because they seem to always be not enough around if you need them. So that's this. So the other great thing about the 5S is the touch sensor, and I've completed the initial setup and restore of settings, and during this process it asks you whether you would want to set up your Touch ID right away. So we'll do that. It tells me to put a finger on here. So, and I'm repeating this, and you can see while the grooves fill in, it's always vibrating very briefly. Okay, it told me to move the finger slightly. So let's move it slightly. Okay. It tells me to get the side. Let's try. Okay. So the secret is in the general settings and in the Touch ID and password. So once you get in there, there is a setting in Touch ID if you want to use it for iTunes and App Store and to unlock the phone. And the default setting is for this to be off. So you want to enable this, because then if the device is locked, you can unlock it and just by placing your finger here. That's the same as entering your code. Or the quick way is to push and let your finger rest on the thing. Not push it and keep it in, because then you start Siri, but to push, release, and still have the finger touching the sensor, then it unlocks the iPhone right away. So that's very convenient for Touch ID. Weird that the default setting is not to unlock the phone with your Touch ID. So you have to enable that, and then that works as well. Yeah, as you see, an iPad Air with polyurethane smart cover, and an iPhone 5S with a leather product grade smart cover.